Let me just check that I am live. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you are having an amazing Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see. I am live. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Today, we are going to be looking at how to position yourself as a purposeful leader that your audience, your clients want to follow. And so I'm going to be doing a couple little mini training series for the next couple weeks, just to get you in the mindset for next year, but basically to give you the tools so that you can reach your income goals quicker before the end of 2021, because we still have about 2 months in, about a month plus, a month and a half before we hit 2022. And so there's still plenty of time to reach your income goals. There's plenty of time to upgrade your packages and your offers, and to still call in dream clients consistently in your business. So I'm going to be giving you little mini, like I said, trainings to give you the support, the resources, and just the groundwork and strategies to make that happen. So this is day one. I'm excited. We're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about positioning, because this is so key, and it really aligns with your messaging and your brand and how you really want to be perceived, especially in this online space. So if you're new to me, by the way, my name is Onyinye Anike. I am a confidence coach and business strategist for Christian female mompreneur coaches, consultants, and experts. And I help you clarify your message and land premium clients in less time, working less hours, okay, without all the overwhelm, hustle, bustle, ads, or funnels or any of that stuff, okay? So let's get started. Like I said, I'm going to show you a proven process to be able to position yourself as a purposeful leader that your ideal clients, your dream clients want. So there are 4 pillars when it comes to, your positioning. If I'm looking down, just because I want to make sure I got my notes. If you're here with me, say hello, and I will follow up. And I'll say hello back. I am using Restream. So I may not see everybody, but I will come back to the comment section. Okay. So the 4 pillars of positioning, super quick, are opportunity, exclusivity, affinity, and authority. And we want to be looking at these various pillars when we are thinking about the way we want to show up in the online space. Now, I know if you're here with me, you're ambitious, you're a high achiever, you are someone who is making moves in this online space. However, at the end of the day, the truth is the online market, social media right now is noisy. It's noisy. It's loud, it's crowded, and it is saturated. It doesn't matter what, for most niches, it's saturated, right? There's a lot of people doing what you're doing. So how do we kind of stand out, right? So today I want to really focus on 2. The first one is opportunity. And this is huge. This is huge, huge, huge. So opportunity is about what makes you different, right? How are you, selling to the gap in your industry, whatever that may be. So have you taken the time to really say, what differentiates me from the next person doing the same thing I'm doing? Is it an idea you have or a viewpoint you have about what's going on in the industry? So let's say I have a client, right? And so for her, health um, is her weight loss, is her kind of her niche, her focus. And so she really talks about how she is anti, the diet culture and dieting and all of that. She actually believes dieting is what contributes to more weight gain, right? So that's a different perspective than most people would have. And so she uses that as her way to really call in her people and to really speak to an issue or a piece of that whole process that she has a unique take on. And so that's one of the ways to differentiate yourself is what's happening in the marketplace that you have a different opinion about, or you don't see the same way, or maybe you're like, it doesn't work, right? And we have to justify this obviously with our own experiences or just something to prove that like there's a better way. That better way is your solution, right? What you do, how you teach, what, the way that you have found gives better results. So that's one way you can look at it is how are you differentiating yourself? What is an opinion, an idea, a process, something that's going on in your space that you don't agree with that you can talk about, and you can talk about it consistently, and you can talk about it courageously and confidently when it comes to that, right? What is that thing that differentiates you? What's that thing that you want to, you want people to know you for? Because the beauty of this is going to call in the people who resonate with you, and it's going to repel people who are like, no, I don't subscribe to that, or I don't believe in that, or that's not the way I want to do it. So you have to find what that is and confidently share that with your audience, okay? So that they know like what you're about. So that's one way to differentiate yourself. The other one is affinity. Now, this one is really good. So this is what you stand for and what you stand against, right? Especially you as believers, as mompreneurs, right? Maybe there are things against. It could be obvious. I'm being, again, super vocal about this. So this calls people out. It helps people differentiate you from the others because you're standing out as a leader, and leaders do things that are uncomfortable. A leader is someone who's able to stand up and speak their truth, speak what they believe in from the heart, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's not the mainstream or the thing that everyone else is saying. People want to follow that type of person because they want to be that type of person, right? They want to aspire to that, but sometimes we're not always there. So when we see others kind of paving the way for where we want to be, we're like, ooh, I'm interested. I want to learn more. Let me, I want to follow this person, especially if it aligns with our own values and beliefs. So you want to be that person in your industry. You want to kind of call out the stuff that doesn't make sense. You want to say like, this is who I am. This is what I stand for and against. So really take some time to really just sit in that and then analyze and really look at what you're putting out there in terms of your content, your lives, your branding, your messaging. Are you really declaring that on a pretty consistent basis so that your audience knows that? You can even ask them, like, do you know what my brand is about? Do you know what I stand for? What do you know what differentiates me from the market? Or even, again, putting that out there consistently. Okay. Now, one thing I do want you to remember is that we're given a spirit of faith and love and self-control and not of fear. And what holds a lot of people back is the fear of polarization, right? Like, oh my goodness, if I say this, now am I going to lose clients? And I want you to know that it's actually going to, like, again, going to repel the people who are never meant to be in your world in the first place and bring to you people who are even more connected to you because they resonate with your message. So don't try to censor yourself. Don't try to water it down. Don't try to be like, oh, if I say this, then that means no one's going to want to work with me, because that's not true. There's always someone who resonates, who feels what you're saying, and who actually wants to be a part of the movement. And that's the next stage that I really want you to think about, is creating a movement. We're in this really interesting time in the world where, because of COVID and quarantine, and because there's so many people going online, one of the ways to really draw out and pull and be different is to really galvanize the people in your audience into a movement. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It could just be, what is one thing you're like against, again, that you see happening in the industry that you want to make a difference, a change about. It could be in like business. For me, I know one of them is anti-hustle, right? Being in the anti-hustle movement, like, we can have a business that lights us up and creates impact and income and freedom without having to hustle and burn out and really lose ourselves in the process. So that could be one thing. It could be maybe parenting niche. You're like, I'm anti discipline via, spanking, whatever it may be, and make that your movement. Or relationships. Or I'm anti 50-50. It has to be 80-20. Whatever your thing is, be okay with it, be strong in it, declare it, and move with it, okay? So if your message and mine are similar, what's going to happen is the person who, again, is able to really call out their ideal clients because they're able to speak into who they are confident in themselves, is going to rise above the noise. It is that simple. If you're in a saturated market, which many of us are, what's going to really differentiate us is our ability to step up into that role, to step up into that leadership, and to speak and to declare our message and to do it consistently and boldly and courageously, and be okay not being everyone's cup of tea. Being okay, you will be criticized. I know that's scary. You will have people who are naysayers. You will have people who will, comment on your stuff and say, that's not the way I see it. And that's okay. We can respectfully have a conversation or a dialogue if they're open to it. If not, obviously we block and keep moving. But being able to be in that space of, I'm holding steady in what I believe, and this is what I'm going to share with my audience, because this is the movement I'm creating. This is the way I'm shifting the way they're thinking about the things that they're doing in their business and how they're showing up in their business, right? Or in their life, or in their relationship, or their finances, their health, whatever it is you help people do, you're shifting their thoughts. And when you do that, people just, they go on to you. They're magnetized by that because it's different. Hey, hi, whoever's saying live, hello, how are you? Thank you for joining. Okay. And so also when you become this movement leader and leader indeed, then people, you're no longer having people get on calls with you, and they want to, do the whole pricing thing where they're like, oh, I'm just checking out other coaches. I just want to see your price. I want to know if I can afford it, kind of thing. Or they're trying to discount it, or they come up with objections. When you are really clear about, again, who you are, what you're about, and you have a really clear positioning in the marketplace, you get people who are on calls who are ready to take the next step, right? You've done all of that front end work through your content, your lives, your messaging, to position yourself as a leader, as a thought leader, as a trailblazer, as a movement leader in that space. You get people who are willing to get on calls with you, and they are just like, here's my credit card. I want to work with you. What's the next step? Right? And who doesn't want that? Like, that is incredible. And so I'm showing you, like, this is the first step, is being able to figure out what the opportunities are in the space, being able to, hey Angel, thank you, being able to, figure out what are the opportunities in this space, the coaching space, or in your space, in your industry, that you want to really make you want to like plant your flag in the and say, this is what I'm about, this is who I am. You want to know what that is for yourself. You want to really be strong in what you stand for and against, the affinity, because this is where people are going to attach to you or not. There's coaches that I follow that I really, like, but because they don't have values as I do, I'm not really going to move forward with working with them. And that's a personal choice. But again, that's for you too. We are natural human. I want that. I love it. Yes. Our natural human inclination, right, is to want to work with people who we resonate with, who we see ourselves in, or who we want to become, right? That's our natural inclination. And so how do you become that for your people? So when they see you, they're like, yes, yes. She's what I'm about. She's the one I want to know. She's the one I want to follow. She's the one I want to work with. She's the one who I want to take me there, wherever that there is for them, that outcome. Okay. So we just want to be mindful of that. Now, with this being said, I also want to be mindful that it's not saying you have to be like extrovert, out there kind of person. That's not your personality. If you are more calm, relaxed, chill, be that person. Just consistently show up as that person and just still provide value, still be able to step into and be confident in what you're saying and what you're talking about and what you believe in, okay, within your industry. Because I think sometimes people be like, well, I'm an introvert, so how can I do that? I have a couple introvert clients, and I'm like, what? Play to your strengths, but that doesn't mean that you can't create copy, right, and structure that is still around what you believe in, around your belief, around your industry, right? Again, I have a parent coach. She's a little bit more extroverted, but she's really strong about gentle parenting. Like, that's her thing. And so we've really created messaging around what is gentle parenting. We've had to educate some of her audience because they don't know. They had different perceptions about gentle parenting. So we had to position the way she talks about it in a way that is going to appeal to her ideal clients, right? Parents. And so even though they have an idea about it, they didn't have a knowledge about it. So she had to do a little bit more educating, but she positioned herself as someone who had a stance around what parenting can and should be compared to what, people say it is, right? Or what we've experienced from our past, right? Our grandparents, our parents, or whatever that may be. And that's how she's positioned herself. And so that's for you to really, dive deep into and figure out, how do you want to be perceived? What is the movement? What is that thing you want to be known for? How do you want to differentiate yourself? And then move from there. Okay. Awesome. All right. So like for me, I'll use my own example. So what do you see happening, let's say, in your space that you're against? So for me, right, I have a lot, but I'm just going to give you like my top 3, which is I'm all about being transparent, and I'm all about, authenticity and just speaking honestly about what's going on. That's something I know is really hard in that space. And really sharing your story too is a big part of your differentiating factor. So for me, I came into it being myself and realizing like, maybe this is not what people want, because everyone else I saw that was making 6-7 figures was all glamored up and had a certain way of doing things and showing up in style that was different for me. So I was like, oh, maybe this is not what people want. And so I started to shrink back a little bit. But then after a while, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm a mom. I'm constantly like in sweatpants and a t-shirt or shorts because I've got kids running around everywhere, and I'm still, doing all these things. And so I had to be like, yo, I'm against like the perfection, right? And that was what was holding me back too. I was like, oh, I'm not perfect, so maybe I can't show up. And so I was like, crap, forget that. I'm all about imperfect action. Taking action doesn't matter, no matter what it looks like. The branding doesn't have to be beautiful. Your pictures don't have to be like from like a major photographer. Like, as long as you're putting yourself out there consistently and showing up and being yourself, that's what's going to attract people. And once I let go of that, like, expectation of what I thought it was, people were coming to me that was just like, I love that you're just you. Like, you don't pretend, you don't fake to be something else. I'm like, I'm not going to. That's a lot of work. And so being able to share that and to share that, like, I'm against inauthenticity. I'm really about being authentic, being transparent, being who you are, and being okay doing that and showing that to other people. So that's like one of them. I'm also against anti-hustle. So that's something that you can really talk about in the space too. Like, anti-hustle, nope. Don't have time to burn out, because if you're not fully filling your cup and you don't take care of yourself and you're burnt out and stressed out, it's going to trickle into all aspects of your life. So that's where the holistic approach for me comes in. And I know that's something that you all want in your life. My audience does want that. They want to be able to be mom, wife, business owner, themselves, whatever it may be, and not feel like there's nothing left at the end of the day. So just some of those things that you want to think about, and maybe write this down as we're talking. Like, what are those things that you see happening in your industry that you are for, and what are you against? And then go back to whatever content or live you're creating. Am I talking about this enough? Does my audience know this? Is this something that's really drawing certain people to me that I really stand strongly for? And how am I messaging it in a way that's going to appeal to my people, right? And so tomorrow I'm going to do another mini training that's actually going to be talking about how to call in dream clients, as opposed to just anybody who has a problem and just wants to find the cheapest solution to it. So tomorrow I'll talk a little bit more about that. So join me tomorrow, same time, same place. But like today, opportunity. Where's opportunities? Number 2, affinity. The last two is authority. So how are you showcasing your authority, right? Positioning yourself as an expert needs to come from a place of like, how are you showing people that you know what you're talking about, right? Like, you're not just BSing it, right? And so that's your case studies, that's your testimonials, that's being on platforms that elevate your status. So are you getting on podcasts? Are you on summits? Are you speaking in different groups and things like that? Are you on a magazine? Are you writing blog posts? Like what are ways that you can showcase that other people see you as an expert in your field, and are actually, bringing you on their platforms to share your knowledge and your expertise? So share that. If you were getting a guest speaking, whatever, say, hey, listen, I'm excited. I just got featured on this, or I got asked for this. This is going to give your audience the perception and the belief that, oh, okay, they're clearly an expert because other people are bringing them on their own platform, right? So that's the third one, is authority. How are you showcasing your authority? How are you showcasing that you know what you're talking about, and that you can actually get people results? Obviously, case studies and testimonials are the greatest way to do that, because you're showing I can help myself, we all can, but I can help other people as well get results. That's important. So that's number 3. And then the last one is exclusivity. Like I said, again, the way our brains work, we want to be part of the club, right? No one wants to be out of the club. We always want to know what's going on. I want to be a part of the group. And so how are we using that? And again, I'm against FOMO. So don't fake anything in terms of how many space you have or the time. Be very genuine and honest. Like, hey, there's only 8 spots, or hey, we close on Saturday. Like, that's the last spot. Exclusivity can also look like being very specific about the type of person you want to work with. So you can say, I work with entrepreneurs who are at 7 figures. That's exclusive, right? Because not everyone is there. And so you can say, I only work with 7-figure entrepreneurs, or I only work with single moms. I only work with, like, that's exclusivity. You're being very specific, and you can even niche down a little bit more depending on where you're trying to go with it. But ultimately, positioning is really just about how are you being perceived in the online space, and how are you creating that? Because the perception isn't something that people just know, right? Once they land on your profile or they meet you, It's what you create. That's the beauty of our business, right? We can shape that. How my phone is ringing. What's going on? Oh, I can like that, right? So really take some time and just kind of think about this for yourself. All right. So the last thing I want to leave you all with is think about the person you follow, right? So you all have, a coach. Is it me? But you're coming in choppy. Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. If it's coming in choppy, I apologize. Let me just make sure my stream is okay. Okay, should be okay. Okay, so like I said, the last thing you want to think about is, who are the type who do you follow? So think about that, and you need to choose someone that you like, you respect, you resonate with. You're like, oh, I really like them. Go and do some digging into like what that is. Why is that? What do they stand for? What do they stand against? What is it about them that makes them interesting? What is it about them that makes you want to follow them, right? Or work with them if that's the case, and really think about that. And then your homework or activity or whatever you want to do, right? It's your life, is to really sit down today and think about those pillars I talked about, and think about opportunity. How are you conscientiously differentiating yourself? This is with intention. So this is not, in your head. Are you messaging this out? Meaning, if I go on your profile or I meet, content, is there consistent content about what makes you different, right? What you believe in, what you stand for, what you stand against, right? Is there stuff that shows client testimonials or client case studies, like their wins on your profile, right? Is there places where you have differentiated and distinguished who you work with and how you work? Those are the things you want to kind of take some time and just go over today in your content, in your business, however you present yourself, and just say, am I positioning myself for my ideal clients, right? If they were to land on my profile or wherever it may be, do I have things that are showcasing these pieces in my business? Okay. So that's kind of today's little mini training around positioning yourself as a purposeful leader, because we all want to follow leaders who bring out the best in us, leaders that we aspire to be like, and who we resonate with. And so how do you present yourself in that way? Because that's one of the ways that you can really start to stand out in the online world, especially because it's noisy, because it's saturated, because there's so much going on. You just want to be able to, that little inch of shift is all it takes, really, to call in your people, the people you are meant to serve at a greater and deeper level. So that's my little training for today. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to drop it in the chat. I know it's a little delayed, so definitely let me know if there's any questions. I'm going to come back. I'm going to answer the questions. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about how do you call in dream premium, so high ticket clients, and then repel those who are not a good fit, because that's also an area I see a lot of challenge is, yes, I'm getting clients, but they're not dream, or they're not ideal. It's just they're there, or they give me so many objections, or they're not the best person to work with. How do we then make sure that we're only talking to, messaging to, and calling in people who are truly ideal, who are dream clients, that you get excited and they light you up when oh my gosh, I get to work with them, yay, that kind of response, as opposed to all right. Okay, so tomorrow, that's what we'll be talking about. Again, like I said, if you have any questions or anything, please let me know. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, ladies. I will all speak to you or see you all hopefully tomorrow. Okay, God bless. Take care.